Hey guys, back again, and I'm incredibly excited to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, which is again the newest Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch and Zendaya, and a lot of other people. A lot of the villains from the previous films are appearing in this, and this is going to be a spoiler-free review because the only things I'm going to mention are things that are in the trailer. If it was in the trailer, it's free game for me to talk about spoiler-free, I think, because it if it's in the trailer, it's something that people have all seen, or mostly have all seen, as opposed to the whole movie. So let's get started. So the basic plot of this is that Peter Parker is revealed to be Spider-Man after Spider-Man Far From Home, and now his life is a mess. And he gets Doctor Strange to try to make everybody forget that he is Spider-Man, resulting in repercussions of villains from the other movies, from the other Spider-Man films, from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films starring Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield's films directed by Mark Webb. So all the villains or a lot of the villains come back from previous films, and this Spider-Man has to fight them. And that's all I'm going to say plot-wise. I'm going to do a spoiler-free or a spoiler-filled review as well, but I don't have the time today. And I have to because I love the hell out of this movie. This movie was honestly one of my favorite. It might be my favorite Spider-Man movie now from first watch. And I rarely try to say that with a first watch. I feel like I should let it sit. But the things that they did in this movie, I genuinely love. There are things that the other movies do better. And I feel like if there is a qualm I have with this movie is that I felt like I knew where it was going almost the whole time, except for a few minor moments. But I'll mention those in the spoiler-filled review. But the basic story of this, I think, is very well done, even though it is kind of obvious where it goes for the most part. Tom Holland in this is fantastic. I I really liked him in Homecoming and Far From Home, but in this one, he is a totally different Spider-Man. He is truly a character that goes through so many things, and I really appreciated that. I appreciated that this movie felt more, because the villains are in it. It felt more connected to those other movies in terms of being more on a grand scale. Because Spider-Man: Homecoming, while I really love that movie, it was more of a small scale with the Vulture just trying to steal Stark Tech, and Peter was trying to stop him. And in Far From Home, it was Mysterio with the drones that were. It really wasn't a world bending situation in those two movies, and this one really feels like the older Spider-Man movies, where it feels like there is a big catastrophe ahead, and I really appreciated that. Um, and like I said, the last two movies with Tom Holland were more small scale. It felt like trying to be less like the other two films, or the other two, the Amazing Spider-Man films and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, where they were so big and so exuberant. And the first two Tom Holland movies are trying to be really just down to earth more, and this one is a good mixture of both. And it plays into the fact that you've got the villains from the other movies, so it feels like the world's connecting in a way with how the movie is tonally and how the movie looks and how the movie feels and how it's a little more grittier. And I like that they ditched a lot of the humor in this one that had the other characters from the Tom Holland movies, because Spider-Man Far From Home I did like, but I felt like it really dragged because I didn't feel it was that funny. Homecoming I thought was one more funnier, but Far From Home, the only person I really thought was funny was Zendaya as Michelle. I thought most of the other humor in it just didn't work and felt really just not that fun. The humor in Far From Home. God, I almost said the wrong name, because of course all three of these movies have the word home in it. So it's very easy to mix them up name wise, even though I know which one is which, but it's very easy when you're on the jump making your video like this unedited. So it's hard to say some of these names sometimes, because again, all three of them have the word home in it. Um, I will not say any spoilers in this video, like I said, but the way that they executed this movie, I think, worked very, very well. And I cannot believe what they did in this movie. in terms of fan service, in terms of being just a great movie for a Marvel movie, it is awesome. I really liked what they did with most of the villains, and this isn't spoiling anything because these villains you've seen in the trailer. It's Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, Electro, and the Lizard. And I liked what they did with Electro. I thought that it was cool seeing him not blue and seeing him a different personality to him, and it's like he's grown since the Amazing Spider-Man 2. In terms of that movie, he was a nerdy, dorky geek and loner, and then he became Electro, and then he got destroyed. And then in this one, he is a cocky, powerful being that's just really fun and funny. And I liked Jamie Foxx a lot in this. I thought he was excellent, and I liked him in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as a sympathetic, like, stereotypical nerdy character, but, like, whenever he became blue in that, it became silly, and he, of course, said that, too. He didn't want to be blue again, and I understand that. And in this one, he's got a great performance, and he really, really rocks it as Electro. I want to see more of him. I hope that we eventually see more of him in the future, because I really feel like the Amazing Spider-Man franchise Sony just immediately was like, oh, this movie didn't get enough money we wanted, and it had okay reviews, so we're just gonna ditch it and put Spider-Man in the MCU. And it's like, it sucks that they didn't finish off the Amazing Spider-Man films just like they didn't with Sam Raimi's. I mean, at least Spider-Man 3 felt complete, even though it wasn't that great in terms of a trilogy. Andrew Garfield only got 2 movies, so it's like these Spider-Man movies, like, Sony keeps ditching them, and I'm glad that they're continuing on with this one, at least, hopefully, with the Tom Holland films. So Electro I really dug. I dug the Green Goblin because they did something different with him in the revelation that he's in a different universe. And again, I'm not going to say anything else, but I thought that it was really well done with the Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe is fantastic, like he is in the other movies. Like, I love seeing him back. Alfred Molina is great as Doc Ock. Really great to see him back. The Sandman and the Lizard are in the movie, but they're not as prevalent as the other ones I mentioned. The Lizard mostly is there, and he cracks jokes, and I think he's funny. I think that he actually has some good one-liners, and the jokes in this are really fantastic as well. But Rhys Ifans does a really fun job, and I feel like with him and Thomas Hayden Church, who I liked a lot in this as well, both of these actors, I feel like it said they were on set, but it feels like that they were not there, like, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like they didn't have enough time with them, so they really focused on Electro, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and it really felt like these two didn't really get as focused, the Sandman and the Lizard. Even though they had good lines, they were interesting, they were fun. I really liked when all 5 of the villains talked to each other and had back and forth with each other. I like the fact that you see in this movie with, say, the Sandman, he's like, oh, you guys have died, the Doc Ock and Green Goblin, I saw it on the news. Like, I like that these villains connected and talked in a way where it felt very reassuring and real to that universe they were in, and I really enjoyed that. And also Electro and the Lizard, who both work at Oscorp in those movies, even though they didn't meet on screen. There was a connection between both of them, because the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 really made Oscorp seem like the big bad place where everything goes and happens. So I liked seeing that connection as well, because they weren't in each other's movies, the Lizard and Electro. So it's cool to see them connect and actually have them. They knew each other, but you didn't see it on screen. Just like how the Sandman knew the repercussions of, like, the Goblin's dead, Doc Ock's dead in that universe. So, because he's in the third one, of course. But I really like that a lot. And I just thought that was really great what they did with the villains. And again, I'm not going to say anything else, but I think it does a great job with bringing all these characters in, giving them a point to be in the movie. And it just really rocked. It was so fun and so awesome. And again, there's so much I can talk about in this movie, but I am not going to say a word until it's a spoiler video. And I will do a spoiler video later. I just don't have time today. But as of now, like, this movie, with spoiling as much as I could without spoiling it, I loved it. I thought it was incredible. It has a great final third act. It has a great opening and middle half too, but the ending is icing on top of the cake. Excellent. Love this one. My favorite movie of the year now. Loved it so much. So that is it for today. Tell me down below what you guys thought of Spider-Man No Way Home, and no spoilers. Don't spoil it for anybody. I know people are trying to do that, and I hate that. I stayed off of YouTube a whole day and Instagram and Facebook the whole day before whenever the movie was coming out yesterday. So I was like, I'm not gonna get spoiled, and I did not. And the surprises in the movie work so much better if you don't know the secrets, don't know what's going on in the movie. So don't spoil it, but tell me down below what you guys think of it. And that is it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.